now we're going to shift over to a very interesting initiative of rethinking the definition of television. So I've already previewed some of this stuff, and TJ is going to bring us up to speed. I'd like to bring him up. TJ from DreamWorks TV and Awesomeness TV. I want to take this opportunity as well. Your Twitter tag is at DreamWorks TV, and the general hashtag is FamilyTechCES. So if you want to tweet the Bing internet, which is really rare to have good internet, and it is good in this room. The password again, Robin, is Bing Pulse. If you need to get on. All right, so are you ready?
Cool.
All right, go.
Good deal. Good morning. The first thing I'd say is a little background. So I've been activating audiences as a marketer for too many years. I saw like masterclass when I came in today up here, and I was like 15-minute masterclass. Okay, that's ambitious. The second piece, I was like, masterclass just means I'm old. The first thing I did coming out of really activating audiences, I was originally a journalist, sports writer, go figure. But I went ahead and helped build a site called GeoCities, and a very long time ago. And GeoCities was the original MySpace, Tumblr, all of that. And I learned a lot about GeoCities and activating audiences from there. I worked in several things after that. One of them, in a much different demo, was really building eHarmony from scratch. So 3 of us built eHarmony. And so activating an older audience, singles, actively looking to find the love of their life was another great challenge. In addition to that, I've done MTV, so Jersey Shore. I'm sorry. It was great. And on top of that, prior to DreamWorks and Awesomeness, I've done was Disney. So Disney, Marvel, and Pixar theatrical. So anything from Frozen all the way up to Avengers. So wide audiences there as well. And I would tell you that my new job I've been in for a little over a year was with Awesomeness, which is a multi-channel network on YouTube. Does about 1 billion views a month. It is focused on Gen Z, which would be basically around 18 years old and under. And then we recently launched a new network called DreamWorks TV, which is more for more like the 6 to 8-year-old audience on YouTube. And as they was explaining, the challenge on that front is what if you really got a chance to rethink how you build a network for kids? And that's fun. It's like, those are the things I love to do, is like, okay, how do you just reinvent? And I think that's been the biggest challenge for us, and it's actually the hardest audience to activate, and we can talk about that a little. The first thing I wanted to do is, can we just show that brief clip? Yep. There we go.
Elsa? Do you want to build a snowman?
Pretty great. A lot to learn from that. All right, first thing. I think this is going to go well, but like, okay, the style of the animation in the cartoon, everyone know what that was? Minecraft, right? Good. I always like to know the base of where I'm starting from. There's a lot to learn in that video. So the first thing is obviously, okay, Minecraft. Like, there's one thing I'm always telling brands and people. I'm telling you right now, if you work at a brand, your brand is in Minecraft. I don't care what it is. It could be sneakers to Coca-Cola. It's there. It's represented, and it's in these games. So from that video, you can take away a lot of things. I'll actually say about Minecraft. Another piece of it is that my 6-year-old, actually he's almost 6, 5-year-old, right? I have a 5-year-old, a 8-year-old, and a 10-year-old, and they're all Minecraft addicts. Boys, girls, doesn't matter. But what I love about it is the 5-year-old, like, it's really a collaborative community, and it's how do you think about how do you reach these kids? Because what he's doing every day is he's building things in there. It's a modern Lego, right? He's building things in there with his brother and sister, with other people. They're fighting zombies. They're raising cats. They're doing all kinds of things, right? But that environment is a really interesting way to look at it as, okay, what's going on with kids these days, and how are they, what's their interaction and their entertainment like? And how is that going to evolve? Go in Minecraft. I swear to you, it's a masterclass. The second thing I would say is that from a creating content perspective, what you just saw in that clip is actually might be subtle, but it's really important. The first is, it was like 10, 15 seconds long, right? Like that, from an attention span standpoint, like shorter content is definitely, I'm saying like, it's the way to go. There's a place for long form. Some of our videos are up to 6 minutes. It's kind of funny, that's long form. Up to 6 minutes. And it spans everything you can imagine. Live action, when I say live action, it's kind of like, what would be a good example? Like Prank My Parents is a show that immediately you kind of get the idea. But I would say that also within that one video, it's like, okay, so it's short, very shareable, it's funny. Like funny is just, we always, movie business, back at Disney, funny's money. Funny, really important. Also, if you look at the two of the top 5 most searched things on YouTube in 2014, number 2 was Minecraft. Number 4 was Frozen. So from a searchability and driving traffic standpoint, those 2 things, huge, right? So like when you're looking at organic and non-paid media and how to launch channels or launch shows or reach that audience, that's a major piece of it. The last thing I would say on it is, it's that the SEO, which we just talked about, sorry, there's another. Commercial, collab. The way the video was actually created was a collaboration within Minecraft again, right? So like, it's not something we created, it's a UGC piece, user-generated, that the audience went ahead and built. And so if you're not out there looking at what they're creating and pulling that to the surface, then you're missing huge opportunities. Because once you highlight them, like once the creator of this type of thing, like DreamWorks, goes ahead and reposts their stuff or reaches out to them or just comments on their video, like that kind of social currency to a kid is just everything. It's an approval. It's a peer approval, and that's huge.
It works for old people too.
That does. So I want to show you just a quick clip to get an idea of the kind of stuff we are creating on the channel today. As I said, it's a wide variety of things.
Convicted of a crime they didn't commit. Hamsters with
So, just what I want to talk about is this, right? You just think about like our story pitch meetings. Okay, we're all like, all right, so what are we going to do next week? And someone's like, well, there's this show we've been thinking about, hamsters with mustaches. And we're literally like, okay, we're in. Like, we don't know what it is, right? But like hamsters with mustaches, like why wouldn't we make that? And that's the beauty of working on YouTube, right? It's that, that we just put up yesterday. It had 25,000 views, right, within the first 3 hours, right? And no paid, no support behind it, just putting it up, hamsters with mustaches. And to produce that show, $5,000 for the whole series, right? The whole series. And so when you think about us and what we're developing, right, it's really going out and giving content creators a chance just to kind of, elevate their material, bring it somewhere, find an audience, right? We're out there debuting shows constantly. And again, it's an animation. About half the slate is animation. Last year, when we launched, we went out with 16 new shows. And half are animation, half were live action, like the Prank My Parents. And literally, like, as we go through this, we just work with our talent around, okay, right, like, what did this episode do? And then looking at the metrics of it. Where was the fall off, right? What was the retention rate of the video, right? What was funny, what wasn't? Where was the comments about? And really giving that feedback back to the creator and saying, this is what we think. This is kind of the path that we think has some potential. And working with them on that. And sometimes the shows, start getting some traction. Other times, they kind of like, they're still trying to find their audience, but that's the fun part. And that's what we're doing absolutely every day. Does that make sense? A little?
Makes a lot of sense.
I don't know. Sometimes.
This is mind-blowing because basically you're seeing right now the inversion of television, the inversion of push content versus build content.
That's right.
And I asked TJ in our conference call, how long, what's the ideal length of a video? And his answer was?
Whatever it should be. It's like whatever the video wants to be. And that's just the truth. It's like, it's just what the right length of the content is really just whatever it deserves. And that's the beauty of the platform as well.
Even if it's a little Minecraft clip where someone gets a pie in the face. Robin? Yeah, questions?
I can keep talking, but I'd rather, help you.
Name of the first clip was?
The first clip is, that's a good question. If you just, on YouTube, you just go ahead and Minecraft Frozen, and it'll be one of the top 3 of those. Sorry.
We can watch it again. No.
It never gets old.
It never gets old.
Are you finding that the content creators are the same people you've been working with in your prior? And so can you talk a little bit about like who they are and where they're coming from?
You bet. They're actually from, it's actually a little surprising. They're from all over. Some of them are, first-time animators and really just, trying to find themselves and kind of find their style. Other ones we have brought in from, that have produced shows for Nickelodeon, that have IP that they just have been playing around with and didn't have a home for. And they want to experiment more on YouTube. So you have that whole range of first-timers to folks that have done, have had some success, to very veteran people that really just want to get to know YouTube and understand how the content plays. So it's all across the board.
Yeah. So you take over.
Over there.
So in the future, how much do you think that this will be like the share of what's viewed compared to movies and more traditional length television shows?
Yeah, I actually think that this is going to be the traditional, right? That I think that essentially is not an original thought, but as you look at the, where video is going, and by the way, like if you're working in the video, 2015 is going to go through the roof. If you just look at the different, if you look at Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, by the way, YouTube really has nothing to be scared about, but Facebook video is growing at an alarming rate, and a lot of them are these shorter clips. But to answer your question, I would say that this is, when you look at how kids behave, in that demo, I don't care if it's, frankly, if it's, 4 to 8 or 8 to 12 or up, it's that they are consuming their media on mobile, on tablets, and they're watching YouTube. And they are, the YouTube hours watched is going through the roof. And so this, my view, this is the TV network.
One more question, if anybody has one.
Anything? Come on, we got 2 minutes.
Oh, we're going.
Talk to me a little bit about parents in this equation, because I think
one.
that there's a lot of concern around YouTube and a lot of just not understanding YouTube and the importance that it is playing, that the fact that it might be TV of the future for kids or what it is now.
Yep. Great question. Thank you. As a parent, there's times when I'm at home and, it's one of these, it's a tough thing because the kid has the iPad and at the same time, like all of a sudden you hear something they shouldn't, like you're not sitting there with them, but you hear it, right? Like something pops out and you're like, right? And they go grab that and like, oh, my daughter, but Milena watches it. Well, she's also 6 years older. Couple thoughts. The first is, I'll say just for DreamWorks TV, there is filters and content and everything against it where there is not inappropriate things running in there at all. The second piece is comments are turned off. There's no, there's no flaming threads, that kind of thing. So it's a very safe environment. Another piece is YouTube is actually coming out with a kids platform that we've been working with them on that is going to, I think, kind of alleviate some of those fears. But, I'm also going to tell you there's no magic bullet, and it's just the truth. I think that it's a little alarming. We've all had the situations where someone's watching something they shouldn't. But the key to it, frankly, is trying to protect them as much as possible within the account. So have them log in, right? Have them, you going through the different, checks, essentially preferences, right, around what they can view and what they can't view, and then trying as much as possible to monitor that's really important. I would say your bigger issue is actually going to come down from apps. It's around really what they're experiencing as they start getting into apps and seeing what's in that content and what's being shared within them in those environments is going to be tougher to control. And I think that's what I would say is a concern. A couple seconds left. The other piece I would say is from a marketing standpoint with activating this audience, it's very related. It's that really you need the parent. Because ultimately what you're marketing to is the parent that is going to have that kind of approval that they can watch X. Right? Like my kids know that they can watch one thing, but they can't watch that. And I think the parent approval piece for us from an activation standpoint has been huge. And we've really been leveraging Pinterest quite a bit. Mommy bloggers, from a public relations standpoint, have been strong and huge supporters. And Facebook. Facebook is, aging up. And I would say that in general, when it comes to Facebook, that the parents on there have actually been huge supporters. The IP, which one thing I didn't talk about in show, is another piece, is that we also have original content from Shrek, Donkey, Puss, and Po from Kung Fu Panda, doing original vlogs. So as if they were alive today and vlogging, they're doing their vlogs, which is pretty great. And if you think of, I'll leave you with this, if you think of the content, if you think of Puss in Boots, like what works on the internet, back to what I was talking earlier, well, what works on the internet? How about Puss in Boots curating cat videos, right? Like, that's pretty perfect. So you should check that one out. Good deal.